Hello and welcome to this week's edition of the Comics Pals Reviews. I am your host, Sean, joined by the full house. This week we've got Pete.
Yo.
Marco.
I'm an alien.
All right. And Tyler.
See, this is your chance to say like Mary Kate and Ashley Olsen with the Full House reference, but missed out.
Damn.
Missed out.
Yeah.
I'm hyper aware for those opportunities because
well, hopefully I can learn from you.
Growing up as a kid in the 90s with the last name Olsen, yeah, that was fun.
I can only imagine.
Yeah.
We have 4 of this week's biggest books on deck to review this week. We've got Catwoman, Lonely City. This beast of a book was done.
That's huge. So I have it digitally. I don't have it physically. That is
what a shame.
It's the Black Label book.
Yeah,
Bat Label.
That's the Black Label.
I have the Batman Dick issue somewhere.
Me too. So. Hell yeah. So we've got that Lonely City #1. We've got Peacekeeper 01. Doctor Strange #2, Death of Doctor Strange rather #2, and Trial of Magneto #3.
Let's go.
The variant cover too. Look at you.
You know how to do it. My girl Scarlet Witch represent. I just broke something. That'll be okay. If you want to help support me repairing what I just broke, there are lots of ways that you can support the show. Subscribe to our channel on YouTube. If you want more of our reviews and our main show, The Comics Pals, which drops every single Monday, where you can hear us talk about the characters you love and all the different places you can find them. Listen to our reviews of Image Comics that drop every single Wednesday. This week we reviewed 2 Spawn books, if you can believe that.
Sorry about that.
And didn't hate them. Hey,
okay. All right.
Ant #1. And Made in Korea #5, which is always brilliant. Check that stuff out. Come join our Discord server. There's a link to it in the description. Listen and watch all of our New York Comic Con interviews. We did a bunch. Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo, Brian Azzarello, Kyle Higgins, Dirk Manning, Twisted, just so many different creators that we spoke to. A who's who, if you will, at New York Comic Con. So go check that out. And follow us on social at the Comics Pals. We got a lot of good stuff going on. Join the party. Let's talk about Catwoman. So Cliff Chiang did this entire book from stern to stem. The only other credited creator is Jock on the variant cover. But otherwise, yeah, this is a Cliff Chiang joint. Much touted. Lots of, good words said about it before it came out from creators trying to get you to buy it. But what did we think about it?
Well, first off, for me, I love Cliff Chiang.
Very good.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm a big Cliff Chiang fan. I know I think the Paper Girls completed paperback just came out today too. So it's kind of like Cliff Chiang day. But yeah, so speaking of Paper Girls and his Wonder Woman run with Brian Azzarello.
Yep.
Some of my favorite stuff ever. So Cliff Chiang is one of those names where if I see his name on something, I'm going to pick it up no matter what. I've even picked up just variant covers for books I don't even read because it's a Cliff Chiang variant. So like I'm kind of a mark for Cliff Chiang. So yeah, I was excited for this and I enjoyed it. I actually really enjoyed this issue. So
yeah, I'll come out of the fence saying this was my pick of the week. I really enjoyed this.
Wow.
Okay.
I thought this.
You know what? I'm with you.
I thought this book was very good. Across the board, right? Like I think Cliff really knocked it out of the park. I thought it was really well paced. I thought the script was really good. I thought the art was really strong. There's a lot of really good color work. This is a good old fashioned great comic book. Like this is a must buy, I think, from me.
This this felt kind of like there are moments where the script kind of felt like Dark Knight Returns, and I think for some reason that kind of like rubbed me the wrong way. I thought the book was good and well done, but the entire time I'm sort of thinking like, I don't need a story like this. I don't know what I don't know that it's something that caters to me, and I'm not the biggest fan of Catwoman, and so I think that kind of dragged down some of it for me. Quality wise, the art's incredible, colors incredible, but I think the fact that like I was okay about it was all right. I didn't have as strong a reaction.
Man, yeah, I couldn't put this down. I thought it was awesome. I think Dark Knight Returns is definitely part of what the inspiration was for this, but I think it feels very much modernized in certain ways. I thought this was brilliant. You know, I think it helps if you have a connection to Catwoman, which maybe you don't, maybe you're not that into her. But you know, having read so much Catwoman over the years, all the way back to, you know, just year one, just her presence in some of that stuff, this feels like the last Catwoman story if you start all the way back then, you know.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, I thought it, as somebody who really has a super, super casual relationship to the character, like, I think it works even if you just know her as that figure, right? Like, you have the passing knowledge of who Catwoman is and, like, you know, what she's about and who she cares about, those sorts of things. I think it still works on that level because I don't have a super intimate knowledge of the character at all. You know, it's more like from just appearances and things that I've read or, you know, like film and television adaptations, you know? So yeah, I think it plays on that history, but it doesn't necessarily, you don't need to have that to be able to get something out of it either.
I think one of the most interesting parts of it was the way that the world kind of continued post Batman. I like that we're brought in Catwoman coming out of jail to be able to explore that, and like we can skip over a lot of the you know, Bruce made more of a difference with his money, and we didn't have to like stew in that world. We just saw like the effects, and we got to play in with that world post post they sort of revitalize Gotham. And I thought that was really, really cool and a good use of a device that Catwoman would be, you know, coming out of jail to explore that. Oh, look at
Speaking of
that.
cats,
Yeah, as you say, Catwoman. this guy shows up and makes his weekly appearance.
that was a summon.
Yeah, his timing is kind of creepy, honestly.
Jordy,
Perfect.
you're still here after
yeah.
all these weeks.
Come here, bud. No, so like I really enjoy this because it's funny, we're getting to, you know, the last Catwoman stories going on right now with the Batman Catwoman going on by Tom King and
Right.
I think it's Liam Sharp now.
Mhm.
And then this, I like this because there's like barely any Bruce in it. Like I like when I get to see the other characters in Gotham kind of exist outside of Batman. Because yeah, his death is kind of the like real crux of this story. There's this whole whodunit that we're kind of seeing, you know, because everyone thinks Catwoman, you know, killed Bruce or at least was involved in it, and we see at the end that she didn't. But there's still like a bit of a Citizen Kane mystery going on too with Batman's last words. No, I thought this was fun. It's strangely, it was nice to see as I sit down on my couch grunting, you know, with just uncomfortableness from sitting in my chair all day, to see Catwoman then grunt when she's jumping between roofs. I was like, all right, there's a bit of realism here that I'm enjoying. You know, I had fun with this. It wasn't even like a dark or gritty book. Like there's a lot of Gotham during the day in this book too, which is a good change of pace that I was pretty happy to see.
Yeah, like I love the idea that it has some of the energy of a book, like, you know, like you know, like Dark Knight Returns or something like that. That is like, but it doesn't have that, like, or at least not yet. It didn't have that same level of like grittiness, I feel like, where it has that kind of, oh my god, we got two cats now, they're just multiplying over there.
Guys, we can't do Catwoman books on the show anymore.
This is getting to be overwhelming. I don't know. Like it has that energy, but it didn't feel like grim dark. It just felt like a story about a character getting older, and like how aging is challenging, right? And like not being able to do the things you used to do, and that the world moves on without you while you're staying the same in some ways, and how that's been exacerbated by her time in prison, because obviously that's a super isolating experience, and that's a thing that that happens to people when they get out of prison for long stretches of time like that, right? Like there's so much of the world that has changed without them, and kind of wrapping that up also in a story about her career as Catwoman and kind of aging out of being a superhero, or a supervillain, I guess in this case, but not really having any other options,
Not wanting any other options.
That's true too.
This is what she's into, and I love Catwoman. She's always presented as a creature of habit. She can't change. This is who she has to be, for better or worse. And this is her last heist. This is her last big scheme, and it's fun. It's fun, and it also features my favorite Batman villain, of course, that being Two-Face. I love me some Two-Face, a character that I feel is way underutilized. And here he's the mayor, and clearly he's up to something, but he's presenting, Two-Face is always, there's two sides of him. And to the public, he presents the good face, the Harvey face. And behind the scenes, we know that Two-Face is still a problem. And I'm so excited to see how that develops. Two-Face as the end game boss for Catwoman is interesting, because they have a relationship in the comics, but not like too deep of one. So I'm interested in like how they're going to glue them together. And why did he let her out?
Yeah, there's already that tension of, well, what's going on here?
Marco, your mic.
Dude, I don't fucking...
I thought you hit like second puberty. I thought you were doing a bit. I was like, all right, I'll go with this.
I'm not editing it out this time, Marco. You fix that. Somebody else talk.
No, so I was gonna say, like, I like how this is a weird take, but like, I like how Bruce dying kind of made Gotham normal. like the worst thing to see that we see now is like, oh, a hurricane hit.
Well,
like, yeah,
and there's a militant
police
force, but
Well, okay, yeah. I'm thinking more like the villains, like the Penguin's not Emperor Penguin, and most of his stuff is, yeah, it's shady, but it's like not affecting the everyman of Gotham anymore.
Yeah.
It turned like blue collar crime into white collar crime.
Right.
So I was like, oh, that's all we need to do is just get rid of Batman. All right, I guess it's not like nobody was saying that for decades now, but.
Yeah, and like very much addressing the idea of like him giving all of his money to social programs would do a lot more good than actual superheroing, right? Like,
I really despised that. I like that it was Barbara that said it, because I think that, her father being Jim Gordon, her having seen a lot of, both sides of trying to better Gotham. I get that she would choose that. But that argument is so tired and silly, especially because you can see that Gotham is not cured. Like, and that's what I love about the story too, is that it tries to present that Batman being gone is actually better for Gotham, but only if you don't know what's going on in Gotham. We know, based on what we read, that that's not true. And I think that, if you take this and you couple it with Fear State and Future State, what we know is going to happen, we see that Gotham is clearly not actually better without Batman in Gotham. And so I wonder how that aspect of it is going to play, because I don't think that that's what Cliff is trying to say ultimately. So how are we going to reveal that down the road?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think that's going to be part of it, right? Because to your point, I don't think it's that Gotham is cured. It just has different problems now.
Got a facelift.
Yeah. Corrupt, politicians, evil people in high places. These are the problems of year one, So
sure.
I feel like this is par for the course for Gotham City. I like the presentation. I think that this was a great looking book.
Yeah.
You can see that Cliff benefited and utilized to the maximum the fact that he was the sole creator involved, because everything feels right. It's like a seamless presentation from start to finish.
Yeah, he's able to. It's the classic thing for writer artists. You're able to really translate what you mean onto the page in a seamless way. The action sequences, the beats, they're all there. The usage of like panels to emphasize like small bits of emotion. Like there were a lot of panels where they kind of focused in on eyes so that you could, or like close-ups of faces so that you can see how people were reacting. And how you can get like an extra layer of emotion out of that. And I think Cliff's already able to do a really good job of like, oh, this person is feeling this way because of body language. But to get those close-up moments, I think also just benefited like emphasizing the those individual emotions.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. And then I don't know if it came across this way for you guys digitally, but Cliff also really utilizes the larger page, the prestige format effectively. A lot of the panels or a lot of the page layouts have like 8 panels on them. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't feel like you're losing anything for that. Like, for example, this page is 9. This is a 9 panel page right here. And nothing is squeezed in. It all feels good. It's spacious.
Yeah, I was gonna comment on that. Like, I feel like it makes the paneling feel extremely dynamic, even though it is simple.
Yeah,
like because it's just different than what you're used to.
I think you lose that digitally, though. I think I lose that digitally.
Oh,
yeah, I'll be honest.
It fits the. I don't know what iPad you have, but it fits the iPad better for me because you don't need like the bars on the side. It just fits the square really nice, or the rectangle rather.
Yeah, fair. I just like the new redesign for Killer Croc. It looks like your Dominican uncle that's at the bodega.
Yeah,
word.
He's just sitting there getting drunk.
Yeah,
or your black uncle in Harlem, who sits on the stoop chilling, regaling you with stories of the old days. The redesign.
Like Killer Croc can be whatever ethnicity you want. It's just
certain ethnicity.
Even though his name's Waylon Jones, but
we know what ethnicity Killer Croc is. Let's not. He's also a Knick fan. I don't know if you guys caught that.
Yeah. Sorry for him. Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah, Knicks got it this year. They got it.
Mm-hmm. And then my favorite page rather, is this one. It's really simple. Catwoman running away from, being shot at, and she's just got a big old cheese smile on her face. It encapsulates so perfectly who she is. She's about the adventure, the danger, the moment. That's what she's into. That's what she lives for.
I think I'm glad you called out those 2 sections too, because I think that the coloring in this book is so smart.
Yeah,
I really appreciate how each scene has different lighting that like evokes a very specific mood. Like when she arrives at the Gordon at Barbara's office for her campaign, right? Like she comes into the main room and meets her son, right? And like it's in like neutral lighting, and then the like mood in the next scene, right, where she's talking to Barbara, it's like a lot of these kinds of like, they're warm backgrounds, but they're not like comfortable, like it's like this very pale yellow. It's this like kind of like burnt orange behind Barbara when she's angry, and then like this like soft yellow with Selena in this kind of like defensive position, the outsides, and when she's walking around and like trying to like figure out where she's gonna go. It has this super moody like noir kind of energy. You know, it like feels like that scene of like the detective stumbling through the city or something like that. And then when they get to the bar, which she describes as home, it's like these very warm, like soft reds, right? This comforting kind of color. It feels like a safe place, like by a warm fire kind of thing, you know? And then in that scene that you were talking about, Sean, right? Like we get into like these crazy bright vibrant colors, like the pinks and the purples, and then like those like the softer greens for the interiors that give it that still kind of like, you know, that flavor, that energy of an exciting crime story, you know? And like I feel like all those things really do such a good job of communicating the mood and the feelings that, you know, Selena is going through beat from beat, you know?
Just all around a tremendous book. I can't wait for the next one. This was a home run for sure. Not something that I was necessarily like looking forward to tremendously. So
yeah, caught
kind
me
of
off guard.
Pleasant surprise.
Must grab
yeah.
it. Go get it.
Let's talk about Batman Secret Files, Peacekeeper 01, Fear State tie-in.
Nice to see John Cena in this book because I couldn't see him at all. It was not Peacemaker, it's Peacekeeper.
Peacekeeper. So I feel like a dum-dum. I definitely talked about this book on the show this past week, which you can of course check out right now. And I said, can't wait to see Ed Brisson's take on Peacemaker. And then I was in
we did talk about that.
100%. I guess I can't read. For some reason, I read this as Peacemaker 100% of the time until the moment that I sat down to read it.
I even mentioned it when you told us what books we're reading. I was like, hey, this is Peacekeeper. Like,
I didn't understand what the fuck you were talking about. I was like, what is this guy on about right now? It's actually about Peacekeeper 01. Ed Brisson is the writer. Don't be fooled. James Tynion did not write a single sentence in this book. He's credited as a plotter, which more likely means we needed his name on this book to sell it.
It's also because his Batman overarching story he's kind of the Hickman of that whole Fear State thing. So
yeah.
But I think Brisson's a big enough name at this point. I usually, if I see Brisson stuff, I usually pick stuff up. It's good.
Yeah, but he's never. What has he done at DC? Right? Like I
don't think he's done anything at DC.
I think this is his first DC at that, which is why I bought it. And also because I thought it was Peacemaker. But also we have Joshua Hickson, who's incredible.
Yes.
Yep. And then Roman Stevens, who did the colors, and Travis Lanham, who did the letters.
Acknowledged the wrong name on that one.
We acknowledged the wrong character on this one. Yeah. But we should acknowledge how good this book was.
Yeah, it's not the worst book to accidentally read. Like,
Glad I bought it by mistake.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of baggage going into Fear State, especially if you haven't been reading Batman. Or if you didn't listen to the show where I did as quick of a summation as I could for what was it that we read recently?
It was
me and you, Pete.
It was the Batman with not Luke Fox, but
Jace.
Jace Fox.
Batman.
Thank you. Yeah, and Tyler contextualized everything. So if you want Tyler's breakdown, you can go listen to that review.
Yeah, but you don't really need it for this issue.
No.
Like they really kind of lay the important parts on the table without explaining it. Really, it's not exposition heavy. This is really a nice character piece, which is what these like Batman Secret Files have been during this Fear State. There was one for Miracle Molly last week, which is another Tynion Batman creation that was really fun. I really enjoy this. And Joshua Hickson, who was in Shanghai Red, he was the artist of Shanghai Red.
That was a great book.
It was great. And as soon as I saw Joshua Hickson's name on this, I was like, oh yeah, okay, cool. I'm in. This is good.
I would have picked this up for his art alone. His stuff on the plot was awesome from Vault Comics. It's like definitely a knockout. He just has his style, man. That's like super horror focus. And I think for this to be a story about the effects of scarecrow toxin, Like,
Sure. Yep.
it was a perfect marriage.
Man, I love the way he draws faces like of people in distress. Like
Yeah.
every time Peacekeeper's like yelling, like he looks so fucking intense. Like the shot where he's like, do you copy? Return home, and he's like, "Get out of my head!" Like he's like exploding with rage, you know.
Who is?
I said it. I just did it too. Peacekeeper, not Peacemaker. And then there's this scene where, like, I guess it's the guy who runs like the the Peacekeeper project or whatever.
Steve Jobs.
Yes, the Steve Jobs looking guy with the glasses, and he's like, "Oh my God, what do we?
What do we do?
I have eyes. I built this software." Like, I don't know. It worked for me, man. It's super good.
Ed
Very
Brisson
impressive.
is really, really good at telling stories that are focused on, one character, 1, 2, 3 characters. I don't know if you guys have read The Violent, but that's one of my all-time favorite series. And it's very short. It's like, I think like 5 or 6 issues max, but it's extremely good. And all it is a story about a family, a guy who's just a troubled person, can't get it together in life. And this is very similar, generational pain and trauma, a dude who just can't escape his past. He can't escape the past of his father or his father's father, and that's a deep story. And it's where Ed Brisson lives at. Cable's cool and all, but I feel like this kind of story is his bread and butter, and he nails it. You really feel for I think his name is Sean.
Yeah, Sean Mahoney, right?
Yeah, Sean Mahoney, my alter ego. A white cop or a white wannabe cop.
Not even a cop.
The Bizarro Sean.
All the way. I really felt for him, and I felt for what he's going through, because he's he can't even become a cop because of what his dad was. But then at the same time, he has some of the same characteristics as his father that he can't escape. And it ruins his life that his father was a bad person. And I can't really imagine anything worse than that. You never had a chance at life.
Yeah.
This guy he's done from the moment he's born because his dad sucks.
Yeah.
I think that's what I liked about this issue the most is, like, I'm not keeping up with what's going on in Batman. Like, I had read the one story that tied into this with, like, him at Arkham and the nurses and everything, and I guess how he became Peacekeeper, because
I think that was
Future State.
Future
No,
State. Yeah,
that was Future State.
Yep.
yeah, and we reviewed that for the show, so I was familiar with that context at least. But, like, I think just as a singular issue, like, if you just picked up this issue and read it, it's just good. Like, you don't even really need to have read what comes before or be interested in reading what comes next. I thought it was just solid. It was a good character study,
Mhm.
Yeah.
It reminds me of those old like Joker's Asylum one shots, where you just kind of get this nice character piece of this person in Gotham.
Yeah.
And I also like how, like, I don't feel bad for the character, but I understand him, if that makes sense. Like, this guy's still a piece of shit. Like,
Yeah. Totally.
and I also have the context for it because I am reading Batman, and like I know, like, this guy's like brutalized people in Arkham, and he was like about to get fired from Arkham. We get a little more detail on that here. But it's fun, and it's a good action issue with like really good character development in the background.
Yeah.
Yep. This was my pick of the week.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
I feel you, dude. The more we talk about it, the more I want to change my damn pick.
Marco, check out 2 weeks ago. It was Miracle Molly, and it was drawn by Danny, if you're familiar with Danny's art. Yeah.
About to buy that right now.
I would
really good.
I would definitely say pull this one.
100%. Yeah. And
Yeah.
it got me excited enough that I think I'm going to get 116 after this.
You mean
Honestly, the
117?
whole 116 I think came out last week, but I think that is
Am I right about being smug? Hold on. Damn, no, you were right. I'm an asshole.
But I'm actually like, I would actually, yes, I would recommend this issue, but like, I would recommend, checking out the Batman book proper and kind of getting into this event. It's been pretty fun. Like I can't imagine. I can't remember the last time we had a really good like Scarecrow story. He's always been like a B-list Batman character in terms of like his impact, like having good stories, and like it's cool to kind of see him get the spotlight a bit, and it's turning into this like weird sci-fi kind of story too, which I'm enjoying.
I really like Scarecrow. I like that Scarecrow
Yeah, me too.
I really like that he can like add a lot of tension to a situation without being on the page.
Yeah, because his like actions are implicated in whatever like follows because of the state that you get put in.
Yeah. It's also just
Fear
like
state.
Haha.
fuck, you're right. I do feel like though I think the reason that he probably is maybe it is fair to say he's underutilized, but I feel like that's because there's only so many kinds of stories you can tell with him. So
Yeah.
it's like he's better. It's a flavor that's better when used sparsely, because then every time it happens, you want it. It's not a thing that feels fucking played out already.
One thing I will say is that James Tinian is proving that what limits people's usage of the Scarecrow and the way that you're describing is probably their imagination.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
Because the way he's being utilized now, we're like, he's not even about the fear gas. Like it's not about that, you know. That's so cool and so different. I like the idea that Scarecrow he can incite fear in other ways, you know. And I would like to see him explored like that more in the future. So
In the future state.
Haha. Good job.
all right. We can go back and forth all day, dude. However you want to do it. Let's talk about the death of Doctor Strange, number 2.
Sad.
Rest in peace.
Okay. This is by Jed McKay with art by Lee Garbett, Antonio Fabella on colors, and Corey Pettit did the letters. Cara Andrews on the cover. That's pretty cool. I like that. I didn't love the first one, but I thought, all right, this is cool. You know, fine. I'm here for it. Whatever. This one, I think I'm off. I didn't like this at all.
I think I was probably like the highest on this, like the first issue. I definitely like really enjoyed it. But yeah, this issue, I think, like I reached the end, and I'm like, oh, okay, I guess we went nowhere and like had a fight, and I thought that, you know, we'd get more out of this interaction. I like that because I'm not as familiar with the Stephen Strange universe, so like he was finding things out as I was finding those things out at the same time. But outside of that, I was like, I don't know what the fuck these 3 witches are, and like they just fight and then bounce, and then like we're still literally at the front porch.
I don't like that blobby one with the statue face.
Creepy.
No.
Oh, I fucking love that one.
Nasty.
Nope. No, thank you.
That was some.
And Tony was like, "Yo, they're in my suit." I'm like, "Nope." I'm doing a factory reset on my iPad right now. That's
they're
don't
in
want
my
that.
ear.
yeah.
I'm not a hater of tie-ins by any means, and I'm not one of those people who just doesn't want to see the Avengers ever. But for this to be an event called The Death of Doctor Strange, and in the second issue, it's just an Avengers fight scene. Like, I needed you to give me more before we did that, or let that be the tie-in, because there is a Death of Doctor Strange Avengers tie-in. So like, let that play out over there. Them coming here and getting involved, just that we didn't move because of that.
Like actually didn't move.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah. I felt like this is a great book for Doctor Strange diehards. All 5 of them. like there's an opening where it's like, oh, these villains are coming into, you know, out of the dark dimension or whatever Doctor Strange dimension. They're coming into, you know, on Earth. And I'm pretty well versed with Marvel, you know, D-list characters. I'm like, who the fuck are these guys? I was about to like bust open my encyclopedia just to say like, I don't know what this is. I'm like, oh, she's wearing green and purple. I'm guessing they're bad guys. But like, that's all I could get out of it. Not to say it was bad. It's just like, This seems like kind of like a love letter to a type of story I never read. You know, like I know Doctor Strange was big in I want to say the 70s, back in during like the psychedelic age.
That tracks.
Yeah, because of how weird it used to get. It's probably I think it was one of the better selling books at certain points. But like I'm not familiar with that. So like I feel like this is a callback to something I don't have the reference point for. And I think bringing the Avengers in there is like, hey, here's the modern day versus this, retro Doctor Strange that, but I'm like, I only have a reference point for one of those things. I feel like it is a good book in terms of the craft of it. Like it's totally readable. I can understand what's going on, but like, I don't know if it's for me.
Yeah, and it very much gets overtaken by the fact that the Avengers are here. Like literally the splash page that we see when they're all squaring off is all of the Avengers like up in like front and center, and then you see in the back corner like behind Thor's cape is Stephen Strange, and you're just like, well, what the hell happened here? Because he went from being on like the first like the prominent in the first 3 pages to literally becoming a background character in one of the biggest action-packed moments of this book.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought it was fine. Like it is very much, it feels like a set dressing issue, right? Like I think it's kind of establishing what and you could argue this is, what issue 1 should do. It feels like this is really like setting the stage, right? Like that the interesting thing is that we have this Silver Age version of Steven in the lead role, which to Tyler's point, feels like an homage to something that we just, don't have that nostalgia for. And I feel like the Avengers showing up and getting clowned is to, establish how powerful these 3 characters are. And now we have a Stephen Strange who doesn't know anything, is less powerful than the one that we know, and he's going to have to be the primary actor of the story, right? I think all that works on a mechanical level,
Yeah.
Whether or not you get that vibe with you is here nor there. I wouldn't necessarily say that like it blew my my skirt up or anything, but it was like, it was fun for a popcorn comic, That's what it felt like. It felt like very much like this is a book about a fight scene and establishing a status quo for the next,
3 issues.
Yeah.
1, 2,
It's a
3,
5-issue
4.
event.
Yeah, but there's like 18 tie-ins
that are about other people. The focus is not even on Doctor Strange, to Marco's point. And that's what's killing me. Like, if you want to sell me on a comic book that's about, the legacy of Doctor Strange and it's exploring all these different characters who are relevant to him and stuff, I can definitely vibe with that. And I wasn't even mad at the phone call, or, it was not a phone call, but like the conversation with Captain America, because it further establishes that Cap has a relationship with Doctor Strange that this version of him isn't aware of. But in a 5-issue, and these are regular, normal sized comics, to tell me that, one of those is going to be Avenger centric in an event that's dedicated to Doctor Strange, I don't know. That's tough. That's tough for me to get with.
Yeah, this issue could have like I think to your point, Pete, like mechanically it makes sense, but I think what McKay could have done here is make it work mechanically, but then save us like 10 pages for story advancement. We
met the villains, Marco. That's
we met the villains, and they could have like just knocked them out.
Wish we didn't.
Nah, dude.
They have a baby
guy. The squiggly guy with the fucking statue head. That shit, like, that's from like Blasphemous. That was some cool ass shit.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Like I feel like this is a fun issue. It's fine. It's good.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah.
But it's like, it also felt run of the mill.
I feel like this would be one of those issues like, like 15 years from now, you're at a comic book shop and you're going through back issues and you're like, oh yeah, I remember that, next. And then like you just keep going.
Wow, I read this.
I read that, yeah.
Yeah, and that's like, I think that's the thing, right? Though, if to Tyler's earlier point, if you're a Doctor Strange fan, then sure, right?
Yeah, it works.
Yeah, like I don't know, I didn't think this was bad. I just
No, me either. Yeah.
I thought the whole thing of him being this old like Silver Age, or I guess even older maybe, version of himself was charming.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was a charming device. Like I think that's a kind of novel idea that he shows up and he's in the old costume and he talks the way he used to and calls himself this name he hasn't called himself in probably 30, 40 publication years. Like those are cool, fun things,
Did you read the first issue?
I guess I didn't.
Yeah, I figured that. We did all that shit already. That's the
Okay.
problem. All of that happened already, and they're still doing it. And plus Avengers.
Sure.
Like this is not, why are we wasting our time? Move the story along.
Yeah.
Just kill Doctor Strange, make Doctor Voodoo an ongoing series by Rick Remender. Again, let's just go back to that.
Let's get it.
Zounds, y'all.
I would say pass.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stick on this one because I like the first issue that much, and
Okay.
I'm gonna see what happens in issue 3.
Okay.
I'm gonna keep reading too because I have to. It's a compulsion.
Okay, but
I
what are you
already started it.
but what are you telling the listener?
I would say pass. I will get back to you though once it's done because this could be a good trade.
Okay,
All
this
right.
could be a good trade.
Yeah.
that's cool. It could easily pick up.
I
it
take that back then. I will say trade wait for the listener, but I'm gonna pick up the next issue.
Yeah, that's how I feel. Yep.
Okay.
That's fair to say. Yeah.
Yeah.
Trade weighted, sure.
Well, let's talk about something that I'm a lot more down on.
Oh no!
Oh, you're telling me you don't like just random kaiju jumping into your book?
You're more down on it. Damn.
Oh yeah, because Death of Doctor Strange had some redeeming qualities, as we pointed out. I thought the first issue of Trial of Magneto was hot fire.
Yep.
This one was a hot something else.
I don't know why this is even called Trial of Magneto anymore. This is Scarlet Witch. Like this is a Scarlet Witch
excuse
story.
me. They said at one point that he's still a suspect. You guys, come on.
Yeah.
The trial is ongoing. The fact that the person who was murdered is back from the dead changes nothing.
North Star being petty as shit.
I got a real kick out of that, like a genuine kick out of that line. I thought that was hilarious. He's like, "Look, this changes nothing. Our investigation is still ongoing, motherfucker."
I don't know. Like Scarlet Witch has name recognition. Wanda has name recognition. Why not just call this
X-Men: The Trial of Wanda or something?
or the rebirth
Or
of Scarlet Witch or something like that?
The Death of Scarlet Witch. I wonder
Yeah.
why they couldn't call it that.
Well, because Sean, it would reveal everything.
But
What,
to
the
be fair,
first
right?
half
That
of
would
the
also
first
be
issue?
that would also be a funny name at this point, right? Because you'd be like, "Oh, Death, she's already back!" Like,
Well, guys, I'm referencing the fact that we just read a book called The Death of
no,
Dr.
no, I'm
Strange.
with you. I'm with you. I'm with you.
Totally forgot about that.
It's the exact same thing.
Well, they were gonna call it the trial of Baron Mordo and the other one, but they had to switch it up. It is funny how there's two concurrent Marvel books going on right now where the main character dies and a younger version takes over for it, and now it's like, oh, what do I do?
Yeah.
It's literally the
House
same
of Ideas, baby.
House of Idea.
In a way, it's definitely hilarious, and it's unfortunate that this is how this has shaken out. It is worth pointing out, I guess, that COVID and the release cadence for these books changed things to where these are coming out concurrently, and I don't know that they were always supposed to.
I'm totally just memeing. Yeah, it's like
No, for sure. Yeah, but I just felt it was worth saying.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we're just poking a little bit of fun.
Go ahead.
Sorry, it was one, like, in the Discord we recently had a conversation about like writers that we can't get into, and I was really excited for this book because it's Leah Williams. And I'm like, wow. Similarly to Sean, I thought the first issue was excellent. the second issue, wasn't as great. It was a follow up. It was still building the story. I still thought it was strong. And then now I'm like, oh, I'm starting to feel differently about the book. Like there are moments in the script where I kind of like got lost, or like moments that took me out, where I think one that was particularly like egregious word was where she was like, oh, Wanda was walking over with, I guess, her kids, and like, Mom, come over this way. And they're just like, oh, you died and stuff. Damn, I'm trying to find the page.
I got it.
Oh, it's like, Tommy, wait, you're okay. Hello. Have we met? Is it, that's not her mother, though she is a Scarlet Witch. There were just like moments that took me out of this and just like explained it. Oh, she's not entirely her. Like she's from the past or something. I'm like, oh, okay, thanks. Like I could have figured that out, or you could have told me in context with the fact that she went through the what is it called when you get reborn again?
The Crucible, right?
Yeah, I
the
think
Crucible's
so.
an event.
Oh,
so,
no,
yeah,
yeah.
she just got reborn.
Yeah, she was
Okay.
just resurrected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the costume should have been enough for that. Like, I don't think he needed to tell me that.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
I don't know, the fact that she immediately kissed Vision, like we guessed that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's over the top. Like they hammer you in the head with that fact. Like
I guess it's for the people that don't know that, I guess, but are they reading this? Like
yeah, that's and also, can we talk about like the most egregious, crazy thing that they did, where Rachel and Jean just give her all her memories of all the crazy, awful shit that has happened in her life since.
Highlights.
Oh my God. Like, why would you do that? Jean Grey, right? And Rachel, in the last issue, I think it was, Rachel is thinking about how like it's wrong to be going through people's minds and stuff like that. Jean Grey is always talking about that, but they're cool with putting her through an extreme amount of trauma in like a second.
Yeah.
And
And also, we don't see her react to the trauma.
yeah, that's what I was going to say next. She's cool with that. She's fine.
She's like, "Oh, mutants. I wish I thought of that sooner." Like,
she's like, "Oh shit, good idea." Bam.
oh wait, I just wiped Jack of Hearts from Marvel continuity. Like,
Yes.
all right, let's go. He's coming back, guys. There's a solicitation. He shows up. So,
But it was like you experience all this stuff, and then like somehow it unlocks kaiju, and I'm like, what the fuck was that about?
Random.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
Yeah, it felt very like out of left field. Especially just because like it's like even like the way that that they announce it, right? It's like, okay, we're gonna give Wanda all her memories back, and then it's like, boom, what's that? Rah! It's like, what the fuck? Like, why did this happen? Like, we were in the middle of something else, and they're like, oh fuck, we got 3 giant kaiju attacking the island on different coastal locations. It's like, what the fuck? What, we were doing something way different like 2 pages ago, man.
It's the trial of kaiju at this point.
also, why does that even matter? The X-Men have a fucking a Power Rangers what's it called?
Mech.
Yeah, they have a
Oh,
mech.
that's right.
Like, they don't care about kaiju. Hello?
also, the island's alive. Can't like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Excuse me, it's 3 kaiju though. That's the problem.
Oh, okay,
Sean.
okay, all right. Self healing.
One robot can deal with 1, but 3 that can heal. Come on, it's a big deal.
It's not like they have Omega level mutants of L or anything like that.
Yeah. Like, Jean can't just shut down the brain. And like, I'm not even trying to be that,
Nerd.
anal about it, but this just doesn't seem like that big of a deal. I'm sorry. These are the X-Men.
The Avengers are here too, right? Like, it's like we
Yeah.
can like. I feel like the Avengers can handle this by themselves.
I did like that one part where Cap just throws a shield and he hits him in the eyeball.
Yeah,
And, like, it gets stuck there. I'm like, how's he get his shield back? I don't have time to think about that.
I
But
also
it knocks him down. It knocks the kaiju down. I'm just like, what the fuck? Did you hit him in a sweet spot? Like, he just died.
Yeah, it's like a
Weak
Legend
point.
of Zelda villain, right? Like, you hit it in the red spot 3 times and it falls down.
Got a critical.
But also I love the maintained thread of the fact that Captain America is friends with Kyle. He's like, please give Kyle my rain check on dinner. I gotta go fight a kaiju.
Thank you for bringing up that page, because they just learned that some crazy shit is happening on Krakoa, right? Which is their sacred land. And they walk to the problem.
I got another question.
Yeah.
So Sync takes Wasp's powers?
Yes.
Does the Wasp have powers?
Yeah.
No.
It's a suit, right?
Yeah.
Or isn't it technology? And also,
yeah.
I thought Sync can only take mutant technology. Is Wasp a mutant?
Yes.
Confirmed. You heard it here
I'm
first.
gonna look that up real quick. Hold on.
No, I mean, she's definitely not. But like, no, her powers came from
Pim particles.
The Pim particles.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe they're trying to say that that's like a
Ultimate Wasp.
mutation.
Ultimate Wasp is a mutant, but I guess everyone in the Ultimate Universe is a mutant, so I guess that doesn't really matter.
Also, didn't Apocalypse kill Gambit? I feel like Apocalypse killed Gambit in Excalibur, and no one cared.
No, he's around still.
No. Yeah, of course, but he got resurrected like everybody else. So
Oh, yeah,
why is it
happen.
such a big deal that Magneto allegedly killed Scarlet Witch? They don't even know that. They're treating this dude like he's absolutely guilty.
She's a human.
No one even cares what his argument is, and that's it.
But she's a human. She's not a mutant. You can't kill mutants. Or you
Can't
can
kill
kill mutants.
humans. Yeah, can't kill humans.
Well,
That's the number one law of Krakoa.
So how's she alive?
No, because Cerebro can back up humans. They just don't.
They don't offer it to humans.
Yeah.
That's like the crime.
She's likely backed up because she was a mutant.
Yeah, or at least Cerebro thought she was a mutant. Which,
Well, yeah, but that
Right,
was what
yeah.
Professor X said, right? Was that like the
Yeah.
backups they had would be super old because they stopped doing it once they found out they were human.
yeah,
Right.
once the MCU happened.
Right. Sometime around 2000.
Yeah.
Yeah, this book is lacking a lot of the politics that I thought it would have,
Yeah.
because these are the questions that are actually interesting when
Yeah.
you're talking about Krakoa and all of the rules and regulations. I wanted to see that. I thought this would legit be a trial, and it's not.
It's kaiju battles,
Yeah.
which is the opposite of a trial. I think
It's
if
a
you
dis-
look at it's the literal opposite of a procedural trial is kaiju battles. I think that's canon.
It's a disappointing amount of the X books in the Krakoan era that aren't written by Hickman, right? Where it's like it's the promise of the stuff that Hickman delivers in the hands of teams that are not capable of delivering or not interested in delivering what Hickman is doing. Like, I think we carry that expectation into these books. It's the same thing that happened with Way of X, right? Where it's like, cool, yes, I'm interested in that concept, but it's not really about that. And Marauders was that. And it's like a frustrating number of these books do not really line up with their elevator pitch.
I completely agree. I couldn't agree more with that sentiment. And then, this book ends. Literally, when this book ended, I exclaimed out loud, and I was like, what the fuck is this? Because the last page features old lady Wanda. Like, all right, she's old. She's still, everything is still, looking great. She's awesome. I love Scarlet Witch. But why? This is not even about her.
Spun the wheel.
What does that even mean?
What the fuck was that page? Oh,
I thought it was an ad.
Same.
I thought it was an ad too, yeah. I was like, what the fuck?
That was weird.
Oh, I just looked it up. Wasp does have powers due to long-term exposure to Pim particles. So it's not in her suit.
Wow. Okay.
Then that's still sciencey. So I guess Sync can just take whatever.
Yeah.
Once it's
All right.
classified as powers. Yo, can we talk about the art for a second?
Yeah.
So I looked back because I remember I wasn't the biggest fan of the art in issue 2, and page 1, panel 3, you get Wanda with a face. Not a fan. Not a fan of this fucking art.
I kind of like
Dude.
that actually.
I didn't want to nitpick, and so I was gonna not say that because I have
I'm here, Sean.
Thank you. That's not the only time that happens, but yeah.
It's not, and then maybe I'm reading because it's the digital issue, but I felt like the kaiju for some reason they were like
They were
overly
weird.
rendered. No, the
It's like
design,
heavily inked, right? Like
yeah,
yeah.
like rendered oddly.
it's like he ran a pen and he only had Sharpie.
Well,
Like,
it's
does that make sense?
it's worth pointing out, and I neglected to do this, but this issue had two artists.
Yes, yeah.
It was Lucas Wernick and David Messina, with of course Edgar Delgado on colors, Clinton Cowles on letters. But I feel like that probably led to some of the weirdness, especially when you consider that this book was originally, correct me if I'm wrong, solicited as just Lucas Wernick, and then they had to bring David Messina on to help out.
Mm-hmm.
That's not the best look.
Yeah.
And this book was also originally an arc of X Factor,
Yeah.
which you can even see how like Cap talks about iBoy and like, oh, that would have been great if this was X Factor, where iBoy was still a main character. Yeah. I mean, I don't dislike it. Like, I strangely still had fun with this issue, but like, it's just not what I expected.
It's another popcorn comic. Like, it's fine, but like,
Yeah.
it's not. It doesn't feel like what. I don't know. It doesn't feel like what we signed up for.
Yeah. Going from CSI, where we were, talking about the ligature marks in Wanda's wrists and they're like examining the body, and 2 issues later, seeing Wasp punch a kaiju. Like, I'm like, how did we get here?
These are very different energies.
You know what music started playing when that shit happened? I was like, what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah, and I hate getting on here and being just straight up negative, but I'm really disappointed with this. Like, I thought this was going to be, all right, this is Leah Williams' coming out party. This is my first time where I'm really going to mess with something she's doing. They're giving her a big shot. This book doesn't feel like it matters. And that's where I always come away. If it's an event, if it's not an event, whatever. Okay, fine. It don't have to matter. But as an X-Men story, if you're talking about Inferno, which is happening now, even the Apocalypse thing not the Apocalypse, the Onslaught Revelation.
Yes.
This kind of feels like it's irrelevant compared to all of that. And obviously it's not over. Anything could happen. But where we stand right now, this hasn't added an ounce of anything to the greater X-Men story. And the fact that Magneto is even here dealing with this, while at the same time in Inferno, we see that he's still a part of the council. He's alive. Nothing bad has befallen him. And we know that takes place after this. This book feels like it's irrelevant and worthless. So for that, I would say drop it. Do not pull it. There's nothing redeeming about it because of that alone. Maybe you like the characters. If you like Leah Williams' stylings, that's great. But the fact that it doesn't matter from a storytelling perspective, and there's a lot of weird shit going on, I wouldn't pull this if I didn't have a podcast and I wasn't insane about finishing what I start.
Yeah.
But you're also admitting that in the show.
I don't know. I'm at a point where it's like I didn't like 2 out of 3 issues. So that's, like it's tough. It's tough for me to be like, yeah, like stick with this. It might be good. I don't know. Probably not, right? Or maybe it will, but like that doesn't necessarily justify it being one of the books that you pull with your limited budget. And where I'm at with it now, I'm kind of good.
Sean, what was your cover? Can you show the cover for this one again? Really
I
quick?
sure can.
Oh, never mind. Okay.
That's a nice one.
I thought it looked like the cover for issue 4 for a second.
Yeah, I hate to trash it. I still will read 4 and 5. I don't know that we'll review them unless you guys want us to. But yeah, I don't know.
Is there issue 5? I thought it was just 4 issues.
Oh, maybe it is 4. For some reason, I thought it was a 5-issue deal, but I could be wrong.
Oh yeah, you're right. 5 of 5.
In any event, that's going to do it for our reviews here. Thank you so much for listening. We appreciate it as always. If you want more content like this, make sure that you are leaving us a follow, a rating, and a review, subscribing to us on YouTube. Let us know what books you want us to talk about here that we're not talking about.
Yeah, next week is huge.
Yeah, and of course, before we close out, we need to talk about what books we're looking forward to next week. But yeah, if there are books that you want us to pull that we're not pulling that you think are better than the ones that we're reading, or you just want our thoughts, let us know. Write in, leave us a comment below, or write to us at thecomicspals@gmail.com. The book I'm looking forward to from next week is actually something I completely forgot was a thing, but I think has the potential to be really special or really bad, I guess. The Batman The Long Halloween special.
Yep.
That's going to be,
that
that's cool.
should be,
That's gonna be cool.
that should be interesting.
Yeah.
Let's see how that is. It's Jeff Loeb still, right?
Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale. Yep.
Okay. All right. Let's see. It strangely reeks of Goldberg coming out of retirement, but like we'll see how that turns out. We'll see.
As a community, we're down on Jeff Loeb because of the whole racist thing, which is a big deal.
Totally forgot about that. Oops.
Yeah.
Oh.
So
past it.
yeah. So I have two. Oh, go ahead, Mark.
No, go for it.
I'm going to say I have two that I'm excited for. So Moon Knight, number 4. Moon Knight's all fine and dandy. I'm a Moon Knight fan. But this one has Tigra. Come on. I gotta read a Tigra story. It's a great character. And then Robin, number 7, comes out next week. The current Robin run is fantastic.
Really? You been keeping up on that one?
Oh, yeah. It's really good. It's just like a Mortal Kombat book, really is what it is, by Joshua Williamson and Gleb Melnikov.
Mm-hmm.
It's really fun. Turns out Robin's really into manga, so there's like manga panels built into it that's in black and white, which is really nice.
Sick.
And it's completely changed the art
these,
style.
Marco, you don't remember this?
No, I did, but I'm just saying like that
good.
continues.
It's really good.
Okay.
It's kind of nuts because like I'm looking at League of Comic Geeks and I'm organizing it by like most pulled, and like Robin is above Inferno for most pulled book, which is like bonkers to me. So that must mean like people are liking this book. So and then what else? Crossover number 9.
Hell yeah, dude. Oh damn, you took one of mine.
I can take more yours if you want.
I mean, you probably could, and that was gonna be mine. Crossover's been hot fire. Loving everything about that book. So very excited for it to come back after like a quick break. And Primordial number 2, that's coming out next week.
I finally read issue 1.
Oh, so good.
Yeah.
Go check out our review of that because that was incredible work. Very excited for it.
Also, I didn't say it, but Inferno number 2.
I was about to say, that's
unbelievable. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Pete.
I was gonna say Inferno number 2 is mine. Shout out to Moon Knight as well. I'm looking forward to that. I've really been digging on Moon Knight. But Inferno was fucking nuts. Like all of the things that we said about what we wanted Trial of Magneto to be, like that's what Inferno is. It is the main event. It is the A tier, high politics, high stakes, that's the real stuff. And I think it is the most essential. And Sean and I reviewed it, and we said I think that it's the most essential an X book has felt since House and Powers. And I mean that with all the weight I can put on that. So Inferno is the good shit. I can't wait for number 2.
And I gotta say, it's nice seeing the comic shops like start putting out their spooky books next week. We got like Gunslinger Spawn, we got House of Slaughter, Something is Killing Children. Task Force Z, which is Jason Todd leading a team of zombie Batman villains. And then DC versus Vampires. Like,
hell yeah,
spooky out there, guys. It's good stuff.
Batman Fortnite Foundation apparently.
Oh,
the Batman who laughs.
All right, guys, that's gonna do it.
Wait. We do have to shout out Radiant Black number 9 because that's gonna be a big issue. I think we've talked about it on the podcast New York Comic Con. We're gonna have the interview out soon with Kyle Higgins. Then stay tuned for that issue and fucking number 10 because that's gonna actually blow your socks off.
Absolutely.
Yes. Thank you guys so much for listening. We will be back next week. Keep it locked here for our review. Some amount of those books that we just talked about, some amount of us will be here to review. So thank you so much for joining us. We hope you'll join us next week. Until next time, take care, guys.
See you next week.